June 2023, Proctor Valley, San Diego. Two hikers say a towering humanoid figure chased them after dark investigators returned at first light and documented claw marks along the dirt track, plus one enormous footprint that the local museum still preserves. This is just one of thousands of stories that defy all we know about this world. In this part 10 of our series, we bring you this and 6 other beings that will boggle your mind, including one so ancient it's mentioned in both the book of Ezekiel and the Quran. So stay with us till the very end. 7. Proctor Valley Monster. If you search the internet, you'll find hundreds of people claiming they've seen something strange along Proctor Valley Road in San Diego. But the legend behind all these encounters started decades before anyone had a camera to prove it. It began on an ordinary morning in 1947. Two middle school boys, Otto Rollin and John Eaton, were riding their horses through the valley. The air was thick with mist, the hills silent, and then they saw it. The body of a calf lying twisted by a fence. But the calf wasn't just dead. It was mauled, torn in a way no coyote or mountain lion could manage. The boys swore the wounds looked deliberate, almost surgical, as if it was the work of something intelligent, something brutal. By sundown, the story had spread through the valley. People whispered that a beast was roaming the hills. In most encounters, one detail never changed. The monster was described as a 7-foot-tall bipedal creature with twisted bovine features, part man and part beast. Some compared it to Bigfoot. Others swore it looked more like a demonic bull walking upright. Over the years, farmers found livestock torn apart. Drivers swore they saw a shadow crossing the road in their headlights. Locals even found its footprints. Casts of those massive tracks were taken, each nearly 18 inches long. One of them still rests inside the Bonita Museum, a quiet reminder of what might still be roaming out there. To some, it's only a local ghost story created by young boys out of boredom. But for others, it's something more. They swear that when the night grows quiet and the fog drifts low, you can still hear footsteps in the sand. Number 6. Akerbeltz. Do you ever wonder why, in nearly every horror movie, devil worshippers are shown bowing to a goat? That image isn't a Hollywood invention. It traces back to one of the oldest legends in Europe, the Akerbeltz. The name comes from the Basque words Aker, meaning billy goat, and Beltz, meaning black. In the mountains of northern Spain, the Basque people once believed Akerbeltz lived within the earth itself, surrounded by elves and elemental beings that served him. He wasn't evil then, he was a guardian, a spirit who protected animals, healed the sick, and brought fertility to the land. Farmers believed a black goat kept near the stable would protect all livestock. In fact, in some villages, families still refused to sell their last black goat, calling it the keeper of fortune. Ethnographers like José Miguel de Barandiaran, who spent decades documenting Basque oral traditions, found recurring references to Akerbeltz as a guardian deity rather than a demon. So, how did Akerbeltz, the deity, turn evil? Well, that happened during the Basque witch trials of 1609 to 1610. The Spanish Inquisition accused more than 7,000 people of witchcraft in the region, many from the town of Zugarramurdi. According to trial records, several confessed under torture that they worshipped Akerbeltz, the black goat, claiming he spoke in a human voice and blessed their crops. From that moment on, the symbol of the black goat was rewritten, turned from protector to demon. Quick question, have you ever come across a so-called satanic church or a place marked with strange goat symbols? Let me know in the comments below, and if you like the video so far, don't forget to subscribe to our channel as it helps us make more such content. Number 5. Dementor 5th on this list are Dementors, the ghost that feeds on everything that makes you human, happiness, joy, hope, or the will to keep going. In the wizarding world, it was known as the Dementor, a black shadowy creature that glides through the air, cloaked and faceless. But the truth behind this creature is far older and far darker. Long before J.K. Rowling gave it a name, people across Europe spoke of beings that drifted through the night, stealing the warmth from anyone they touched. In Welsh legend, there were the Chwyn Anwen, ghostly hounds that hunted lost souls. In Slavic folklore, spirits called Mora were said to sit on a sleeping person's chest, draining their breath until morning. Even in ancient Greece, they believed in the Keres, shadow-like entities that fed on human misery after battlefields fell silent. Every culture gave them a different face, but the same purpose: to consume joy and leave only despair. But imagine living centuries ago before words like depression, trauma, or PTSD even existed. How else would people explain the heaviness that stole their sleep or the emptiness that hollowed their hearts? They created monsters to give their pain a form and their fear a name. Number 4. Dryad. After the cold emptiness of the Dementor comes something very different, a creature that breathes life instead of taking it, the Dryad. In ancient Greek mythology, Dryads were the spirits of trees, divine guardians bound to the forests they inhabited. The word Dryad comes from dryas, meaning oak. It was said that every tree had a soul, and if that tree fell, the Dryad connected to it would die too. These weren't mere metaphors. The Greeks genuinely believed nature was alive, conscious, emotional, and deserving of respect. The philosopher Thales of Miletus once wrote that all things are full of gods, reflecting the ancient idea that the divine lived not above us but around us, but this belief wasn't confined to Greece. Across cultures, similar myths emerged. In Celtic lore, the Green Lady guarded the forests of Scotland. In Slavic mythology, the Leshy ruled over trees and animals. These legends suggest a universal truth. Humanity has always sensed that nature watches us back. Modern science even hints at something eerily similar. Biologists studying forests discovered that trees communicate through underground fungal networks, sharing nutrients, warning one another of disease, even helping weaker trees survive. It's called the Wood Wide Web, and it echoes what ancient people believed all along. So perhaps the Dryad was never a myth after all, but the first name we gave to the living spirit of the earth itself. Number 3. Wyvern. If dragons ruled myths, the wyvern ruled the skies. Unlike dragons, which had 4 legs and a noble reputation, the wyvern had only 2. Its body was lean, serpentine, and tipped with a barbed, venomous tail. In medieval descriptions, its scales were green or bronze, and its eyes burned like coals. Some drawings even showed it breathing fire, though others said its breath carried poison, not flame. The wyvern story began in Europe's Middle Ages. Its name comes from the Old French word vivre and Latin vipera, meaning snake or viper. To people who barely understood disease, the wyvern became a symbol of contagion, a flying serpent that spread plague and death wherever it went. By the 1200s, it was carved into castle walls and painted on battle flags. The red wyvern became the emblem of Wessex in England, symbolizing both destruction and power. But the myth may have had roots in reality. Historians believe medieval knights returning from the Crusades told stories of giant reptiles they'd seen near Egypt and Syria. Others suggest fossil discoveries from England's Jurassic coast. Early finds of pterosaur bones may have inspired the legend of winged serpents. Those bones, ancient, were often found near churchyards and thought to belong to monsters wiped out by God. Even centuries later, the wyvern endures. From the flags of Somerset and Wales to the insignias of air squadrons and gaming lore today. Number 2. Hippogriff. You might remember the Hippogriff from Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, the proud, silver-feathered creature named Buckbeak that bowed only to those who showed it respect. But what most people don't know is that this creature wasn't born in Hogwarts. It came from a 500-year-old Italian poem. The Hippogriff first appeared in 1516 in Orlando Furioso by Italian poet Ludovico Ariosto. He described it as the offspring of a griffin, half eagle, half lion, and a mare. That pairing was thought to be impossible. In older myths, griffins hunted horses. So when Ariosto imagined the two creating life together, the Hippogriff became a symbol of love conquering nature, of peace between enemies. In the poem, the knight Ruggiero rides the Hippogriff across oceans, mountains, and even to the moon. Ariosto described it as faster than lightning and loyal only to those with a pure heart. Scholars believe Ariosto might have drawn inspiration from older myths, possibly the Greek griffin, known since 3000 BCE in ancient Mesopotamian art. or from travelers' tales of giant eagles from Central Asia that were said to carry away livestock. So while no fossils ever proved its existence, the Hippogriff survives as one of myth's rarest ideas. Not a monster to be feared, but a miracle to believe in. One, Gog and Magog. Now here comes our showstopper. Gog and Magog, the tribe so vicious, so relentless, that they're mentioned not in one, but in all three of the world's major holy books. In the Quran, the tale of Gog and Magog, known as Yajuj and Majuj, appears in Surah Al-Kahf and Surah Al-Anbiya. It tells of a great ruler called Dhul Qarnayn, often identified by scholars as either Alexander the Great. During one of his journeys, he came across some people who spoke a strange language and begged him for protection from two barbaric tribes that brought chaos and destruction across the land, Yajuj and Majuj. In response, he built an enormous barrier between two mountains, using slabs of iron reinforced with molten copper. The Quran describes the wall as so strong that Gog and Magog could neither scale it nor pierce it. It was meant to last until the end of time. Now here's the fascinating part. Long before Islam, the names Gog and Magog appeared in the Book of Ezekiel, written around the 6th century BCE. In it, Gog is portrayed as a mighty ruler from the land of Magog, commanding vast armies from nations like Persia, Cush, and Put. The prophet Ezekiel warned that Gog would invade Israel in the latter days, but that divine wrath, fire, earthquakes, and storm would destroy him. Centuries later, the Book of Revelation, 27-8, revived the prophecy once more. It described Gog and Magog as nations deceived by Satan, rising at the end of 1,000 years of peace to wage one final war against the righteous. But the mystery doesn't end there. When the Mongol Empire swept across Asia in the 13th century, many Christians believed the prophecy had come true. They saw Genghis Khan's unstoppable armies as Gog and Magog, the ancient tribes finally unleashed upon the world. If you found these legends fascinating, don't stop here. Subscribe to our channel and dive into part 1 to 9, where we uncovered creatures so bizarre you'll wonder how they were ever forgotten.